Yeah, these 4 weeks seem to go so fast. They're just a little kind of a taste. So we're going to continue to taste some Torah yoga connected to Hanukkah that's integrated with the Parsha. So let's start by coming to standing. Starting to get the bodies prepared for our focus, for our learning. So come to a standing position on your yoga mat. Just trying to place myself so it's visible. Bring your feet together. Did Gila get on yet? Spread your toes. Roll your shoulders. Beginning to arrive in the body, in the mind, in the attention. Lift up your right foot with your right heel on the floor. Excuse me, and spread the foot. Spread the sole of the foot, spread the ball bones of the toes. It seems to be echoing. Let me see why. Maybe somebody's not muted. Let's make sure people are muted because there was an echo going on a little bit. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay. So once again, we're coming to our bodies, to our minds, to this day. Spread your feet. Lift up your left foot. Spread it long, Yofi Gila. I'm glad you arrived. Spread it well and place it down. Extend your arms. Reach them towards the wall in front of you. Rotate them to face inwards so the biceps face each other. Stretch the inner arms toward the inner hands and raise those arms, especially your inner arms upward. As you raise your arms upward, straight above your head, if you can, unless you've got shoulder problems. If you've got shoulder problems, see if you can go a little bit out to the side. If your shoulders are open, take them up to the sides of the ears, shoulder width apart, press your heels to the floor, press your ball mounds to the floor, and extend those side rib cages long. Lift up and extend the arms out. So, I see it because I don't usually see myself when I'm teaching yoga, but because of Zoom, I see myself. So I notice that my shirt's always coming up, right? Which is a good thing because that's what we want. We want the whole torso to be raising up. So it's like lifting the body up so that there's, sometimes the shirt keeps coming out of the pants, which is a sign that there's movement. Spread your feet, spread your toes, extend your arms once again, biceps facing each other. Feel both feet rooted in all of their sides, the back of the foot, the front of the foot, the inner foot, the outer foot. Tarimu et yadayim, lift your arms, bypass your ears if you can. Have them right alongside the sides of the trunk from the hip. So now take your mind to your right arm. Press your right foot to the floor and lift your right arm to the ceiling. Press your left foot to the floor. Lift your left arm to the ceiling. And now both arms, both legs. Take the arms out. Move the arms behind you. Take the shoulders back with the arms. Link up your shoulders to your hands. And then if you can, interlace your thumbs without letting the shoulders roll forward. The shoulders sometimes want to disconnect. So roll the front of the shoulder to the back of the shoulder. Pull on your thumbs to stretch long the arms from the shoulders to the wrists. And then drop the shoulder blades down the back and suck the back of the shoulder blade into the body. So the trapezius muscle moves down the back. The shoulder blades move down the back and suck them forward into the heart and release. So that's the beginning of the moving of the shoulders, the lengthening of the spine. We'll take it one more time with the other interlace of the thumbs. She'ifa, raise your arms. To bypass your ears, press your feet. Breathe. Start to feel heat orurut. Waking up energy. Take the backs of the hands away from each other and take the arms behind you. First, have them shoulder width apart so that you really can feel that you're straightening your arms. The shoulders, the front of the shoulder is going to the back of the shoulder. The top of the back of the shoulder, or let's say more the shoulder blade is moving down the back. So you're taking the top of the back downward and inward. It's the opposite of the general habit of the body. We're going to take today Hanukkah and the Parsha on the subject of habits. And then switch the cross of the interlace of your thumbs. And keep connecting shoulder to arm, to upper arm to lower arm. And then stretch back and lift the arms. But at the same time, drop the shoulder blades down and suck them inward. All these instructions are meant to awaken new awareness and release and roll the shoulders. And let's do one just a little more dynamic lifting of the arms. Inhale and exhale. For those who are just arriving, inviting you into your body, lishof, lean, shof, exhale. 2 more times, she'ifa. Feet on the earth, nishifa, widening the chest. She'ifa, lengthen your spine. Nishifa, widen your heart, widen your attention, and down, and roll. Okay, let's invite ourselves to sitting. Come to a sitting position, either on a chair or on a good folded yoga blanket, to sit cross-legged or sitting on a chair with your feet placed on the floor. So if we're sitting cross-legged, cross your legs at the center, the middle of your shin bone, rather than crossing your legs at the ankles, rather than doing at the ankles, cross in the center, have your feet move under your knees. So we're not like this. We're not all pulled in the feet and the knees sort of hanging without support. We're taking the feet under the knees. It's more symmetrical. Lift up the buttocks and try to sit down well on your sits bones. Take your fingertips as cupped fingers on the blanket beside you. And as you bend your elbows back, drop your shoulders down, press your fingertips down, lift the torso up, suck the shoulder blades in. Yofi, I can see some good postures. Gila, I would suggest even one more blanket. I happen to have a very good view of your pose. If you have the cough to get one more blanket, the knees are almost in a good position. They could drop a little bit farther. Press your fingertips, reach under the buttocks, pull the flesh out on both sides, diagonal and back. So we're not sitting just how the body sort of habitually decides to sit, but we're interfering with our yoga and saying, I'm going to create something new in my awareness. Press your fingers, lift your spine, roll your shoulders. Better, Gila. Now you can see your knees are more along the line of your hips rather than above your hips. Can you leave this lengthening spine lifting upward with the help of your hands at first, and then releasing your hands, placing them on your legs? See how much you can maintain this extending spine. And now close your eyes for a few moments. Close your eyes and keep the actions of the pose alive. You want to relax your legs, relax your feet, lift up your spine, and relax your eyes. Take this last few moments of preparation to invite yourself into this time to study the Torah, the body, and how the two really connect deeply to each other. And let's open our eyes. Okay, so as we've already mentioned, this is our 4th week goes fast. God willing, we'll continue in January. Those who are interested, and we'll be able to continue another series. I wanted to give little taste of different aspects of Torah yoga. Torah yoga is this practice of understanding that the wisdom of our Torah and the wisdom of our body have a lot to teach each other and a lot to enhance each other. Rav Kook teaches we can learn Torah from Torah. We can also learn Torah from the body and from the world. So it's Hanukkah, so we can't not talk about Hanukkah. So I want to bring a teaching about Hanukkah, something I mentioned last week. I want to go a little farther into it and connect it to the Parsha. And it's connected to, the rabbis teach that there's a certain time we're meant to light the Hanukkah candles, and it's not strict. It's not like Shabbos. It doesn't have to be by a certain time. But the custom is to light at an hour that's called Ad shetichle regel min hashuk. It's until when the last people walking from the shuk are going home, like right around dark, somewhere around dark. But the phrase that's used is tichle regel. The last regel will be going from the shuk. So the Hasidim, especially the grandfather of Sfat Emet that I love to study and I love to teach, he says there's a deep hint in that little instruction in the word regel. He says the word regel, which means foot, also is the root of the word hergel, which means habit. And Hanukkah is all about lighting candles so that we won't live in habit. It's all about what's considered to be the opposite of habit. The opposite of habit, according to Sfat Emet and his grandfather, is chidush. He says the opposite of rigilut is hitchadshut. The opposite of living in habit is living in renewal. And the Hanukkah candles, we're supposed to light them at the time where there's no more regel, right? There's no more feet walking from the shuk, but the hint is that there's no more habits, because we're now elevating our consciousness to live more in the world of constant renewal. The world of constant renewal is a very spiritual world. It's a very elevated realm of reality, and it's what the Torah tells us is possible. And Hanukkah is all about, one of the meanings of Hanukkah is renewal. But why? We were renewing the temple. We were renewing our ability to connect to something beyond just the regular world. It's very interesting. I don't often make plays with English, but even in English, the word regular is regel. And I don't know if there's a reason, right? It's a regular world, but it's not a regular world. It's a Hanukkah world. It's a world with a lot of light. So how does it connect to the Parsha? Because in the Parsha, in this week and next week, we have Joseph and his brothers, and he's saying to them, Atem miraglim. He's checking out. Are you miraglim, meaning spies? But he's hinting, because the word spy in Hebrew also has the word regel. So he's saying to them, are you just going to act regularly again? Are you going to act the way you always have? Or are you going to act in a new way with your brother Benjamin? He's checking out that they're not going to act out of habit. So both in the Parsha and both in Hanukkah, we have a deep invitation to explore habits and to try to not live in habit in order to live in renewal. So one more teaching, because this is our last of this series. And by the time we start again, I think we're already going to be into the book of Shemot, if I'm not mistaken. So one of the biggest places that this concept comes up is with Moses. When Moses comes to take the children of Israel out of Egypt, when God picks him as the leader, the first thing that God says to him is, take your shoes off your feet. Take your shoes off your feet. That's why actually, Pam, very appropriate. You let me know you were wearing socks today, because you know how important it is to have your socks off. And if you're lying down, you can keep them on. But for standing up, we don't really want anything blocking the consciousness of our feet. So the hint, and this is also, I think some of you, a lot of you have my book. Some of you don't know I have a book. I did want to mention that because I was surprised somebody didn't know I had it. And I think you might be interested in it. And one of the chapters in the book is about this, because when God says to Moses, take your shoes off your feet, the Hebrew is shal na'alecha me'al raglecha, which means take your na'al, which is shoe, but it's the root of the word lock. Take your locks, me'al raglecha, off of your feet. But now we know that feet hints to habits. So what God is saying to Moses in secret code language, in Hebrew code language, is take your locks off your habits, because this is holy ground. And that's Hanukkah. Hanukkah is taking the locks off the habits of consciousness, because then we're going to live in a world that's holy and a world that's renewal. And I see that Cheryl just gave a chat that she has some of my books to sell people. If you're interested, you can talk to Cheryl. They're also on Amazon, but you can definitely talk to Cheryl. So that's our work for today, is that we're gonna light the Hanukkah candle of consciousness by understanding that yoga, what is yoga a fabulous training in? Yoga is training in unlocking habits of the body. And when we change habits in the body, we're changing habits in our perception. That's how it works. That's how we understand the body. The body is a field of perception. So simply by working the body and paying attention, there is an opening to renewal of the mind. So let's do our poses. We're going to move into some a little bit more twisting poses today, but we're going to start by lying down and getting the legs, the reglaim, right? Our legs working in a non-regular fashion. So come to lying down. I'm going to set up here so I can see everybody. Lie down while your knees are bent. Lie on your backs. Be prepared to see this as lighting the Chanukiah of your own body by living out of habit. So you lie down and you take your hands under the back of your head, interlace your fingers under the back of your head, lift your head and look at yourself and look at your yoga mat if you're using a yoga mat. And I invite you to not lie down just the way your body wants to arrive, but scoot yourself into position so that you are in the middle of your yoga mat and you are symmetrical. The mat can be a good teacher. In other words, sometimes we lie down with our legs askewed one direction, our back the other direction. So scoot yourself into position that you're in the middle, and then lower your head down by lengthening the back of the neck so that the occipital ridge, that part that stands out in the back of the head, you're lying a little under that, or at least on it and not above it, so that your chin is not lifting up. Then stretch one leg at a time, one regel, and then the other regel. Both of the raglaim are now lengthening. And then let them fall to the sides. And feel yourself falling on the outer side of the back of the heel. Then roll your legs towards each other, move them to touch each other, and lie down consciously on the back of your heel. Not on the side of the back, but on the center of the back of the heel. And roll your front thighs in. And raise your arms up, stretch your arms overhead. Extend the arms to the sides of the trunk. Extend the rolled in legs. So we're not just letting our legs do their habit, but we're saying, let's wake up a very conscious leg. Stretch your inner legs to your inner knees, to your inner ankle bones, and then press that inner face of your legs to the floor. Maybe you'll feel the back of the thigh expanding. That's what we want. That back of the thigh, that's a very unconscious part of our body most often. So we want to spread it onto the back of the floor. And then extend your arms, extend your legs, and hug that right knee up to the belly. Keep the left leg stretching. Lift the left leg 6 inches, 4 inches from the floor, enough up from the floor to free it from the floor. And turn the top of your left thigh inward slightly and extend it back to the floor. So we don't want that left leg to fall to the outer back of the heel. Keep it on the inner heel. Elbows slightly lifted. Draw the knee to the belly as your right groin, upper right groin, the front right groin softens. And release. Bring your legs together, bend your left leg, hug it to the belly, lift your right leg. Check what's happening with your head. If your chin is facing the ceiling, lengthen the back of your head any amount. I'm coming to watch for a minute. Lift that right leg off the floor. Turn the top of the right thigh from outside in. Judy Mosili, I don't know how you say your last name. It might be helpful if you have a little blanket under the back of your neck, if you have one. Might be helpful to have a little blanket. The head is lifting slightly in a way that is a little straining for the neck. Now drop the chin down. Yes, much better. Now straighten that right leg, turn it inward and lower it to the floor. Good, and release the left leg. Okay, so you can remove the pillow now, Judy, but you can take it if we do the knee bending. Yeah, but see, notice, now take your hand on the back of your head for a second, Judy, just one, and lengthen the back of your neck. Yes, that's the direction. That's what I want. That's what I want. So you don't need the pillow, but that's what I want. Bend your right knee again. Take your belt under your right heel. Sorry, I forgot to tell you to have your belts handy. Stretch your right leg up toward the ceiling. Hold the belt, each side of the belt in one hand. And take the leg straight above your hip, not farther yet. Yashar al ha'agan. Regular yamin tishimalot. 90 degrees from the other leg. Pull down on that belt. Left leg is straight now. Hold it with both hands, Gila, so the arms are staying wide. Don't hold the belt in the middle. Hold the belt with both, yes. And then raise it up. I'm going to show a trick here with the belt in a minute. Raise the leg. So Tanya, a little less, but a little straighter. The leg is bent. Yeah, less. Yofi. Stretch the inner leg up. Press the front thigh away from you. Press the right above the knee. Press it away from you. Right above the right knee. Yofi, Cheryl. Od ktsada filu, a little more. And lower the right leg to the left leg. So if you've got a belt, just watch for a second. If some of you are holding the belt like this, and it kind of slides. So if you're not holding with a loop, sometimes I wrap the belt. I'll wrap the belt around my hands like this when I'm holding it, so that I'm not just holding the belt and having it slide as I try to hold it, but I make a loop. So if you can make a little loop, it makes it a lot easier. Okay. Second leg, bend your left leg to the belly. If you have a question, you can always ask. Wrap the belt around your left front of your heel. Stretch the left leg up. Hold it with both hands. Make loops if you can to make it easier. Take a look. Drop your chin, Judy. Drop your chin. Yeah. Look at your leg. Gila, straighter leg, less high. I don't know which knee is the knee that you had the story of. We didn't get to that yet, but you want to straighten gently the leg. So you can go a little less. Go 60 degrees, but go longer. That's better. Once you're getting that leg to straighten, look at it. See that the thigh, knee, shin bone, and front ankle are all aligned. And then move the whole front face of the left thigh away from you, especially the outer thigh, just with its own accord. You just press it away from you. And can you spread open the back of the thigh? So Cheryl, and the leg is bent. Go a little less, but a little straighter. Left leg, straighter, but less. I can see, maybe it's the pants that I'm seeing, but it looks like the leg is a little bit bent. And release that leg all the way to the floor. And bend your 2 knees, hug them to the belly. Interlace your hands over your shin bones, relax your back to the floor. Chin to the chest, slight turning of the chin to the chest. And place your 2 feet on the floor, bent, legs bent. Lift your hips up, take your hands on the top of your buttocks, move it away and lie down on your lower back. We're going to cross the leg over the body now. So you're going to take your belt, if you have a belt that you can make a loop with, make a loop with your yoga belt that you're going to be able to hold on to a loop. Bend your right leg, stretch your left leg to the floor, raise your right leg to straight, whatever that is for you. If you can do 90, don't go farther than 90 today for right now, but stretch it up and hold the belt with just your right hand. And now your right leg is stretching up. Look at it, make sure you're stretching the inner leg and the inner leg is long. Not just the outer foot is raised, but the inner leg. And now hold the belt with your left hand. Stretch your right arm out to the right. And take that right leg over your body and roll onto the outer side of your left leg. So you're rolling over. Right leg going over, you're rolling to the outer side of the left leg. And you're like a twist action. I know for some of you, twists may be problematic. If the twist is problematic, you can keep the leg straight up and go farther toward your face and make it more of an extension of the leg rather than doing the twist. But those of you who are going to do the twist, you let yourself roll to the left side of your left leg, and then you turn your head to the right. So this is like a twisting triangle pose, which we're going to get to today. And then you raise the leg up, hold the belt now with both hands, stretch it to its maximum length in the back of the leg. Actually, I don't want to use that word maximum because we don't really like to say that, more like the potential for this moment in the back of the leg. And then pull the leg to the limit towards you. It may be 90 degrees, it may be 130 degrees, whatever your body is open to. And come up and release. Release your right leg to your left leg. Take a moment to notice. When we light the Hanukkah candles, it says we don't have permission to use them. We only have permission to see them. So we do so much using of our body. So after the pose, for a moment, see your body, because the body is also a holy place. So see the body, notice the body. Notice the effect of that pose. Second side, hug your left knee to the belly. Place the belt under your heel, stretch your leg holding the belt with your left hand. Stretch it well, stretch it wisely, not habitually. Inner leg, stretching to the inner knee, stretching to the inner ankle bone. Then hold the loop with your right hand. Stretch your left hand straight to the side of your left shoulder. Roll over onto your outer right leg and extend the leg over and towards your face, but the top of the thigh is moving, the front of the thigh is moving toward the back of the thigh on the left leg. We'll go over that in a minute. Stretch that leg straight, roll to the outer side. Again, if twists are a problem for you, you just take the legs to the ceiling even farther. Chazara le'emtza, come back to the middle. Pull the leg to your edge, to a place where you're knocking on the door of new consciousness, of new leg, and you release the leg. And you take a moment, lirot, to see the light of the body. Okay, we'll do it one more time, adding our hands. Watch for one moment. When I go over to the side, I know the pants are kind of black, it might be hard to see. When I go over to the side, this front thigh, if you look for a minute, is gonna wanna kind of crouch up towards my abdomen. I wanna take my hand with my fingers on the outside of my thigh, my thumb on the front of the groin, and I'm gonna educate. Hanukkah also means education, chinuch. I'm gonna educate that leg to move in a non-habitual way toward the back of the leg. And then I'm gonna go over. So I'm keeping space in my abdomen. I'm not crunching and contracting and closing my abdominal organs. So let's all take our right leg to the ceiling, lying down, take your right leg up, take your right hand on your upper right thigh with the fingers on the outer groin. I call this the outer groin, the outer hip, and the thumb in the inner, like on the front of the thigh. Push that leg away from you as you cross the leg over. So we're pressing the front thigh into the back thigh. And we roll to the left side of that left leg. Then pull the foot toward you as you push the thigh away from you. And then keep that growing light of consciousness of that action and release the right arm out to the right. But try to, with its own accord, keep that right thigh pressing away from your belly toward the back of the thigh. And so what we're really trying to illuminate is the back of the right leg. Chazara lamala, come up, pull it towards you. At the same time, you still press that front thigh away from you, always. In almost every pose in yoga, we move the front of the body of the thigh to the back of the thigh. That's the action of opening the leg and release the regel, release the habit and relax. Relax and watch and notice. See if there's any new awareness, any new life energy. Last side, this pose with that new technique. Take your leg, hold the left leg to the ceiling, right hand holding your belt, left hand wrapped around the outer left thigh, press it away from you. Press the outer thigh and then roll onto the outside of the right leg. Take that right leg over to the right, push that front outer hip of the left leg away from your abdomen, away from the pelvis. And then extend your left leg while you keep that action going in that leg. So there's a lengthening of the sides of the waist and the hips and the pelvis, even in this pose. And come back up and pull it towards you and press it away from you at the same time. V'teshachroru and release. Release, relax for 2 or 3 breaths. And practice seeing. The perception. Rav Kook says there's a perception of renewal. We have to develop it. Can you perceive the renewing body, the Hanukkah body? It's taught that there's always miracles, but during these 8 days, we actually have more access to miracle awareness. So we might as well take full advantage. Bend your legs, hug your knees. Let your back relax to the floor. Take your belt now under both of your feet. Make your loop long or just have one long belt. You can either close the belt or double the belt and raise the legs, depending on how flexible you are, up to the ceiling or a little bit less if you don't have the flexibility. So either 90 degrees or less. And here, continue with all of those actions, meaning first, straighten your legs and don't worry about competition here. So if those of you who are at 90 degrees, but your knees are bent, that really is not the pose we're looking for. We want maybe a 60 degree with straight legs, 70 degree, or if you can manage 90 degree. Everyone just look at yourself. This is your Hanukkah candle, your Chanukiah. Stretch your legs, roll your front thighs in towards each other. Press the front thighs into the backs of the thighs. How much can you awaken horizontal expansion from the inner back of the thigh to the outer back of the thigh? Press that front thigh right through its leg and then extend the calf muscle up to the heels. So there's a lengthening of the back of the leg. And release, bend your knees, roll to your right side. And slowly come up to standing and have a chair available for a few standing poses here where we're going to move into some twist. Okay, we'll begin with triangle. So come to the center of your yoga mat. Let me know if you still hear me okay. I remember last week if I moved back, it was harder to hear. If you're having a problem hearing, I'll come closer. Stand on your yoga mat. Sorry, I just have a little, I have to drink something. 1 second. Okay, have a chair available if you need a little extra prop for triangle, meaning if it's hard for your body to go all the way down to your ankle in triangle, you can use a little bit of a support, a chair, a seat of a chair, or a block. So let's bring our feet together. Hands to the heart. Jump or step your feet 4 feet wide. Turn your left foot to the right, your right leg to the right. Stretch your legs straight. So, you know what, still struggling with my, 1 second for a second. That's that way, and that's that way. Okay. Left leg to the right, right leg to the right. Lift your spine, extend over that right leg. Bring your right hand down, bring your left arm up. Stretch your legs straight and extend your spine over your right leg. Push back into that back foot and turn your right torso forward. Turn your left trunk back. Look up to the upper hand and come up out of the pose and turn your feet to face forward. Second side, turn your right leg to the left, your left leg to the left. Extend your arms out to your sides. Lift your spine up. Extend out over your left leg. Bring your left hand down. Bring your right arm up. Stretch your arms away from you. Breathe. And now, Kamashev Shar, as much as you can. Lengthen over that left leg and turn the left waist, the left rib cage forward and roll the right rib cage back and gaze upward, and inhale up. And turn your feet and jumper step your feet together and roll your shoulders back. So in order to increase, because even in this pose, we have an element of a twist. It's an extension over the leg, but we're turning the torso, and the extension, the twist is going to be very assisted by how we use our legs and where we push each leg. So let's take our legs wide. Each leg goes in a different direction. You'll see, again, these basic teachings, but we deepen them. Turn your left foot to the right. Turn your right leg to the right. So you're turning to the right. And now your back leg, which is your left leg, it's going to want to come to the right with you. Don't let it. Have it face forward. The front of your left leg faces forward, but it pushes back. In other words, the front of the thigh goes to the back of the thigh on that back leg. The other leg is the opposite, the right leg. The back of the thigh goes to the front of the thigh. So they do a crossing. The back of the right leg comes towards the front of the right leg, and the front of the back leg goes to the back. And that forward and back action creates a compactness that lengthens the spine, that can turn the spine. So now we'll do it. I'll talk you through it as we do it. Legs wide, left leg turn to the right, left foot turn to the right, left leg facing forward, right leg right, arms out to the side. Press your left thigh back, your right buttocks forward and extend. Left thigh back, right buttocks forward, two different directions. From there, you can stretch and then bring your right hand down, bring your left hand up, and keep those actions. Keep those non-habitual ways of being in the body. Left front thigh opens the back left thigh. Right buttocks presses forward, and from there, lengthen, and then by pressing your left thigh back, turn your right waist forward. By pressing your right buttocks in, roll your left rib cage back and look up to the ceiling and inhale up and turn your feet and hands on the hips. Okay. Second side. Turn your right foot without turning your right thigh. Turn your left leg, completely turn the left leg. Now it's your right thigh that's pressing back and your left buttocks that's going forward, like this kind of action. Forward and back. Right thigh back, left buttocks in, arms out, extend over your left leg, go down, stretch the right arm up, press back with your right thigh, forward with your left buttocks, lengthen over your left leg. And now by pressing that right thigh back, turn your left lower waist forward. See how those two actions assist each other. Right thigh back, left waist forward. And now, right thigh back, left rib cage forward. Left buttocks in, right rib cage back, gaze up to the ceiling, and stretch everything long. One more time and soften your abdomen. And inhale up, turn your feet, jump or step your feet to mountain, roll your shoulders back. Take a moment to even close your eyes and perceive the effect of the pose. Open your eyes, extend your hands, interlace right thumb over left, reach your arms up. We'll come back to symmetry because we're gonna move soon into a deeper twist, but first we wanna make sure that we know where our center is. Press your heels down, squeeze your elbows in, lift, breathe, elbows in. Yes, more with the elbows to get more length of the spine itself. Tailbone in, front thighs back. Now we're moving the front thighs back, tailbone forward. That's what helps compact the pelvis so that we can catch the spine at its very lowest point and raise it up. Arms out to the sides. Switch the cross of the interlace of your thumbs. Left thumb on front of the cross, and lift up and stretch up. Buttocks goes down toward the heels so the lower back can come up. And one of the ways that this yoga works, Iyengar yoga works, is there's always like opposite things happening in order to awaken. It's like you're creating traction in your body to awaken sleepy parts, which there's a lot of slumber in our bodies. Side angle, simplified forward bend. That way we're gonna take that into triangle twist. But first you're gonna face your chair. Stand exactly facing your chair, so you're symmetrical in front of your chair. Step your right foot forward. Left leg back, turn slightly to the left. Hands on your hips, and turn your hips from left to right. So the left hip comes forward, the right hip goes back, and you press fully into your back heel. Interlace your thumbs, raise your arms, suck the tailbone forward, lift the front of the spine up, and by keeping a firm pressure back into the back leg, extend over your chair. You gotta set yourself up so that your chair is useful to you, so that you can extend, so that your spine is parallel to the floor and you're lengthening forward toward your head. One of the keys to the balance of this pose is the back leg. Press the inner left thigh backwards and stretch your abdomen forwards. Come up. I'm going to watch the second side. Step your left leg forward. Step your right leg back. Have your hands on your hips for a moment. Turn your right hip forward, left leg back. Elbows back for a moment. Okay. Interlace your thumbs. If you remember how you crossed last time, switch the cross. Raise your arms up. Raise your arms up and press that inner right thigh back. Bodify your right heel, meaning move that right thigh so much back that your back ankle on your right leg is full, and then extend yourself forward. Keep moving back with the right leg, forward with the torso. Lift your face. Stretch the front knee up as well. Oh, beautiful, Cheryl, gorgeous. Beautiful, nice spines lengthening over. Now turn that right hip forward. Move that left hip back. Yeah, more forward with the right hip, Marcy. More back with the outer. Yes. Outer left hip, back. Stretch. Okay, Carol, you're doing warrior 3, which is beautiful. It's not what we're doing, but it looks great. And then come back up out of the pose. It looks great, but it's fine. Come up out of the pose. We weren't lifting the back leg, but that's totally fine. Bring your feet together. Okay. We were just doing leg on the floor. We're gonna move from here to simplified triangle, twisted triangle. We haven't done that in this class, this session yet, but watch. Just watch for a minute how we're going to use the chair. We're going to take the right leg forward, the left leg back, hands on the hips, and put our hands on the seat of the chair. Here, I want my front leg, I want to be sure I'm lengthening the outer side of my front leg and it's not falling out to the side. I'll talk you through it when we do it. So we're going to start like this. Watch, with my hands on the chair. Then I'm going to cross my left hand to the front right corner of the chair, my right hand on my right hip, stretch forward, stabilize my back leg, and turn my torso from left to right, and then extend up. This is quite similar to what we were beginning to do lying on the floor. That's simplified. We'll do it simplified first, and then we'll do the full pose. So come with the seat of a chair or the seat of a bench in front of you. Walk your right foot forward, facing directly forward. Left leg back, turning slightly to the left, like 20 degrees out to the side. So it's not straight forward, it's turned out a little bit. But then turn your hips. So you want to really stretch the right outer thigh up and back, the left hip forward. Take your hands on the front seat corners of the chair. You have to kind of be with your right foot under the chair to get the right distance here. Then cross your left hand to the front right corner of the chair. Don't turn yet. If you have problems with twists, you can do this first part of it. Carol, I remember there's some problems with twists, so you don't have to twist, but you can put the left hand on the chair. Then extend your spine toward the wall across from you, where you're facing. Lengthen, and then after you've lengthened, and after you've pressed your back heel down, then turn your left torso forward, your right elbow back. Press the back heel, lengthen, turn the torso from left to right, and raise up that upper arm. And breathe and try to soften to let the abdomen turn. Come back to symmetry by facing your chair. Press back into the back heel, stretch the spine forward, and come out of the pose. I'm gonna watch for the second side. Left leg forward, right leg back. Hips, hands on your hips. Turn that right hip forward, turn that outer left hip back. So both of your pelvic front bones are exactly even distance from your chair. Then interlace your thumbs, stretch your arms up for a minute to get more length. Length is really a good opening. It's an opening to twists. And then you bring your hands to the front seat corners of the chair. Yeah. Okay, front leg straight. Left knee straight. Yeah, you can take a little more space, Carol, between your front and your back leg. There we go. Gives more space for the spine to lengthen. Good, Pam. Stretch your spine forward. Turn that right hip forward, Cheryl. Left hip up and back. Outer left hip up and back. Now take your right hand, cross it over to the front corner of the chair on the left. Left hand on your left hip. Stabilize your back leg. And then extend forward and then turn that right trunk to the left. Turn that right trunk to the left and the left trunk up. And stretch that arm up to the ceiling. Turn. So Cheryl, I think maybe the twists aren't good for your back. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, yeah. So keep your hand on the chair, Cheryl. Oh, you can do that way. That looks great. That looks great. Nice and long. Beautiful. Soften that belly, turn, roll that upper elbow back. Nice, great, beautiful, soften. And come out of the pose and come up. And face forward. Interlace all of your fingers. Stretch up. Press your feet down, extend your spine up. Take the top of the buttocks down, take the lower back up. Breathe. Take the arms out to the sides and down. Okay, so I do want to offer the chance to practice full twisted triangle. Those of you, thank God everyone, taking good care of your bodies. I know there's a few of you who twists aren't good for. So you can continue with side angle, forward bend, and even go a little farther. Those of you who aren't going to be doing the twisting, stretch more and begin to lengthen down over the leg. okay? Unless there's a problem with forward bends. If there's a problem with forward bends, then you can use the chair and stretch forward over the chair and place your forehead on the chair, or even higher. So all kinds of variations according to body stories. But if we're gonna do full twisted triangle, give it a taste, right? We wanna change our habits. So this is a great habit changer because it kind of turns the mind around, right? Twists get us to think in different ways. So I'm gonna show it from this angle. We're gonna show it starting from as though we're going into a forward bend. We're gonna raise the arms up to the side like wings, keeping the back leg stable. Just watch, I'm gonna turn from left to right, and to bring that hand not to the chair, but to the floor on the outer side of my forward standing leg. Then the upper arm is up. Then I try to stretch long and turn. Okay, lots of new habits of stability and awareness can grow in this pose. So everyone, according to what's right for them, use the chair or don't use the chair, whatever you want to try today. Right leg forward, left leg back. Begin with stable base. You know, we go back to Jacob's ladder, our first session. That's the beginning of the vision. We have to always find how do we ground ourselves to open up these levels of consciousness. Press the back heel down, take the arms out. Either use the chair or go beyond the chair and take your left hand to the floor on the outside, fingertips down on the outside of your right ankle, right arm up, stretch your spine, turn your torso from left to right, and breathe. Okay, so Judy, you're going kind of the opposite way. I'll talk you through it again on the other side. And release. And also Bonnie. So some of you, yeah, it's confusing. The twist wasn't exactly going the right direction. Let me take you through that one more time with watching so I can help you. Everyone face the chair. Step your right leg forward, same side, same side. Right leg forward, left leg back. Arms out to the side. With no matter what you're doing, everyone just stand up with your arms out to the side for a minute. And the twist is going to be that your left arm is going to go on the outside of your right leg. Okay, so those of you who want to try the twist, or if you want to just take the arms forward, go ahead. Yeah, that's right, Judy. But if you want to put your hand down on a chair, that's fine. The floor is really far at the beginning in this pose. There we go, Bonnie. Yofi. Now stretch your spine, turn your torso. Yeah, try to relax the torso and lengthen that left side of the trunk and turn it to the right. Soften the abdomen, press into the back heel and come out of the pose. Good, great. So Marcy's using a block. Blocks are good. Blocks sometimes they're good. They're just sometimes a little unstable in this pose, but if they're helpful, that's great. Last second side, last time. Left leg forward, right leg back. Turn your hips to face forward. Stretch your arms out to your sides. Right hip forward, arms out. Now what's going to happen? Your right hand's going to cross over your left leg, those of you doing the twist. So go for it. Right hand over your left leg. You can start with your left hand on your left hip for stability. That's a great way to start if you want. Lengthen your spine and then turn the torso from right to left and stretch that left arm up to the ceiling. If you're doing forward bend, stretch and then drop your head down. In the end, drop your head. You can have a little more space, Cheryl, between front and back leg. Soften the abdomen, turn in the twist. Yofi Marcy, beautiful. V'chazara lamala. Come back up out of the pose. Pam, I think you might take a little more space between your legs. It looked a little narrow that time. Okay, feet together. Let's take our feet to the outside edges of our yoga mat. We're going to come into either half forward bend with the legs now parallel to each other, hip wider than your hips, as wide as your yoga mat, and either stretch your arms up, either use a chair or take your fingertips to the floor. and stretch your spine forward. Lift your kneecaps up. Roll your front thighs toward each other. Move them back, bend your elbows, and begin descending downward towards your legs, towards the floor, and then drop your head. Always the option of using a prop to make it less extreme at the beginning. If you need to take a chair, but what we really want to work on here is those nice non-habitual legs. Lifting, turning, front thighs spreading into the back thighs widening from the inner thigh to the outer thigh. Those of you who are on the floor, drop the head. The hands are on the floor, drop the head at the top of the head, and then hold each arm on its opposite elbow and pull the arms down toward the floor and toward your legs. Make sure you drop your head in this pose. Okay, Tin Shafu, exhale. If your legs are bent, I want you to work more on straightening the legs. Okay, extend forward with the arms and come up, stretch forward and come up out of the pose. Let's come to sitting. Take a blanket. For most of you, probably, some of you may not need, but we're gonna sit on the edge of a blanket with our legs stretched out to the sides. Like this. Okay, so you're sitting on the edge of your blanket. If you need, when I say this often, but if you need means if your back needs to be lifted a little in order to lengthen. Because if we sit on the floor and we can't stretch our spines up, that's not going to be very illuminating. Okay, so we want to sit on a place that creates a vitality in the body. So if it's a blanket, if it's a few blankets, press your fingertips down, stretch your spine up, stretch your legs away. If you can, you're on the floor. If you're not, you're on a blanket. Now, legs. Turn to look at your left leg and be on the center of the back of your left heel so that your 5 toes are facing straight up. Turn to look at your second leg. Locate yourself on the middle of the back of your heel so that the 5 toes are stretching up and the top of the thighs are facing the ceiling. Take your fingertips down, lift your spine up, press your thighs down. Raise your right arm up. Raise your right arm up. Take that right hand, place it in the inside of the left thigh and take that, what we're going to call the inner groin, move it down. So you're ironing the inner groin down, and with your other hand, you're spreading the back of the thigh onto the floor. Second side, raise your left arm. Take that left hand, move that inner groin of the right down, spread the back of the thigh from the inner groin to the back of the leg. So you're spreading wide the back of the thigh. And then you sit down and you've got a big wide upper back thigh on the floor. Press the thighs down, press your fingertips down, lift your spine up, raise your right arm up to the ceiling. Raise that right arm up to the ceiling, turn yourselves from right to left and extend over and try to reach toward. Those of you who aren't doing the twist, you just press your fingertips down, lift up. Press your fingertips down so your right hand is in front, your left hand is down, and you lift up. And you lift up and you lengthen. Yeah, and you lengthen. Good. Those of you who go for the twist, you take that hand toward the leg. Come back to center, second side. Raise your right arm up, your left arm up. Second arm up, left arm up, right. Turn yourself from left to right. Reach out over towards that left foot or place your fingertips down and work more on lengthening the spine and not about doing the twist. Lengthening the spine. And come back to center. Place your fingertips. We're now going to take ourselves over the right leg. So kind of side angle lengthen over that right leg. Hold your right big toe if you can. If you can hold your toe, hold your toe. Okay, so you lengthen and you raise that upper arm up and you take it over your ear. You take it over your ear. So you're lengthening over the right side. If you can get that right elbow to the floor in front of the right inner leg, go for it. And you raise that arm and you try to take that arm over to the foot. Okay? Don't worry about how far you go. If it's good for you to stretch the arm to the ceiling, go for it. And now turn the right side of the trunk forward and come up out of the pose. Second side, take your left arm, stretch it out to try to hold the left big toe. If you can get that left elbow on the floor, great. Raise the right arm up, stretch the left arm away, breathe into the openings and extend the arm over. And try to hold the foot with the upper arm as well. Then push the left elbow into the left leg and turn your left trunk forward. And inhale up. And come sitting cross-legged up on a blanket. Press your fingertips down, lift your spine up. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms, reach up, stretch up. Relax your feet down. Release, open the legs, cross them the second way. Switch the cross of the interlace of your fingers, turn the palms, and reach up. All these switching sides, switching, crossing, this does an awakening of different habits, different sides of the body. Take the arms out to the sides and all the way down. And let's get ready to Chanukah. Chanukah means resting on the 25th. We're resting in the light of whatever it is that we have awakened this morning. We're going to come into Shavasana, into relaxation pose. So get a little blanket ready for your head. Bend your knees. Roll yourself with awareness down the center of your yoga mat, moving the buttocks away from your back. Get the blanket ready for your head and neck and stretch your legs. One more good long stretch away from you. If you need any transition pose for yourself to get into relaxation, go ahead. If you need to hug your knees again to your belly or do any kind of micromanagement movements of your body, go ahead. But stretch your legs, stretch your arms out 30 degrees from the sides of you, rotate them totally so the backs of the arms are resting, the inner arms are facing the ceiling. Chin toward the heart, eyes closing, and set yourself up with inner perception to see that you're comfortable and that your limbs are relaxing out to the sides. Take whatever movements you need to make adjustments for comfort, for relaxation. And then give yourself all the permission to let go of all of the actions and just simply receive the gift of the practice, the Hanukkah gift of awareness, of energy. When you exhale, let the body release and relax to the floor. Let the top of the body relax to the back of the body. Let go if there's any holding in the jaw muscles. Swallow and relax the back of the throat. Take one more moment to see the holiness of the inner light, to receive and to rest in the light. Then knowing that this light keeps growing, we're going to begin to transition out of the pose. Bend your legs. Put your feet on the floor. Roll to your right side. Rest on your right side. If you don't have a blanket, use your arm and do a little bit of a child curled up position on your right side. Then using your left hand, come up to sitting. Come to a cross-legged position on a blanket or on a chair. Realign yourself on your sits bones, realign yourself with a long spine. And we'll conclude our practice by sealing it with wholeness of shalom. 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 Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, wow. Chanukah Sameach, everybody. Lovely to be able to share this with you, to practice together. We have this chance now to share blessings if anyone has, or insights, questions. So let's take a few moments if anyone wants to share something with us today. You just let us know or open up your microphone. Yep, I think Gila's going to tell something. Go ahead.
Yes, I love the fact of the regalim and the regel and changing habits. That's what yoga is all about, changing habits. And I love the fact that you were talking about the coded words and the hidden meaning in all the words that lend themselves so much to yoga. And I just love this practice. And I look forward to continuing in January.
I'm so glad, Gila. I'm so glad. And I see how deeply you appreciate the Hebrew and how many secrets are in the Hebrew. It's really a passion and it's very true. So thanks for sharing. Beautiful. We'll look forward to seeing you again in January, God willing. Yeah. Anyone else want to share an insight or new thought they had about Hanukkah, about your body, about the connection? Yes, Panina.
It's so hard to get out of our habits. It's very, very hard, right? No matter what, like when you are conscious, you like change it, but immediately later you fall back into it. So it's like when we put in our back of our mind that it's like we always need to try for chidush, we always need to look for renewal and not to fall into what we are used to. That's something that will help us grow as human beings. So באמת, תודה רבה.
Toda, Panina. Toda for that. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I mean, why do we say every single day we do our prayers, we do our, Yetziat Mitzrayim, because it's a daily practice. There's a teaching, Panina, somewhere that says it's harder to change one habit than to learn the entire Talmud. So I really appreciate you opening up the like real human truth of habits. Yeah. And being so real about it. It's true. That's why we're forgiven for being human and we get to do this. We get to keep working on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Panina. Beautiful. Beautiful. Anyone else want to share an insight or an awareness? Wait, somebody say something? Oh, I think that was somebody else talking. Yeah.
You what? Diane, I want to thank you so much for the illumination of perception that you share with us today.
Cheryl, you're welcome. See a lot of light in your face, so it's lovely to see. Thank you. I love these teachings. They seem to me that they're just so tafur. They're so connected to practicing with yoga, so it's really nice to share. Okay, everybody. So really we should have a lot of miracle, a lot of light, and a lot of chidush, a lot of renewal. And we'll see everybody, God willing. Those of you who are going to continue, we'll continue. Cheryl will let everybody know. Yeah, great. It's so nice to be able to do this. Okay, Chanukah Sameach.
Chanukah Sameach.
Chanukah Sameach to everybody. Keep the light going. Keep the